So I actually wanted to put out something a little different tonight, but I didn't have the time to actually film all of that, so I had to scrap it. I'll save it for another day, but today I want to just go over part 2 of the display on the OnePlus 3. I know a lot of people are still questioning the 1080p display, and I know I went over the brightness yesterday, the maximum brightness and the minimum brightness, and this phone does very well in terms of both. I also went over the colors of this phone compared to other smartphones, but actually today I just want to go over backgrounds like different wallpapers in 1080p resolution as well as 1440p resolution, just so that we can settle any kind of issue that you might have when it comes to a 1080p display on a smartphone, and in this instance on a 5.5-inch 1080p display. In yesterday's video, I had a few people ask some questions, so I'll go over some of those. SilverMad99 asked, in my OnePlus 3, when I have a white image and I look at it from an angle, it turns kind of green-blue. Is that normal? SilverMad, when I had a white image, it wasn't something that I noticed, but let me go ahead and pull it up again. I'll maybe like rotate the phone a little bit to see if I can get any different kind of colors off of it. Okay, so here's my white image here. Let me go ahead and put this in landscape. Hopefully this is going to show on the screen okay. But as I am turning this phone, it isn't something that I am noticing. I really don't know how much you can see on the screen, but put that back there. It is not something that I am seeing at all. The viewing angles on my phone have been really good. It's not something that I've had an issue with at all. So maybe if it's turning blue or green or bluish green, it's something that maybe you want to send back in and get a replacement. George Rickett also commented and said it's also penta something pixels I heard, which makes it less sharp than other 1080p screens. George, I think you're talking about a pentile screen, and with the little research I've done, I've read that pentile screens are actually also used in the Samsung Galaxy S7. I've read that it's more beneficial to use 1440p then, so that it is sharper, but I will tell you right now, when I am using this phone, I don't look at the phone, especially when I'm going through text. You know what, let me pull up a news site that has a lot of like text-based stuff, and I will just show you offhand how I look at it. Okay, so I have an article here from The Verge, and I will tell you, again, when I am like reading news or I'm going through something and I'm reading this text, I don't read this and I'm like, God, this is such a 1080p display. I wish it was 1440p. Like, no, that doesn't happen to me at all. It's not something that I notice. I suppose if I really wanted to nitpick and like zoom into the text and just like take a look here and see that it's not as sharp as something else, but I'm looking at this right now and I'm not noticing any kind of blurring. Again, I don't have the best eye for it, so it might just not be a big deal to me, but I think people are just getting a little too nitpicky here. But yeah, I'm looking at this text and I'm not seeing this and I'm saying, this is horrible. I can't read this at all. It's so blurry, because it's not like that at all. Honestly, the display is good. It is a good, bright display. But I know specs can be a very important thing to a lot of people, so if 1440p is a deal breaker, then just pass on this. And again, it's not that I don't want a 1440p display. I mean, I'll take it if that's what the phone will give me. I just don't think it's a deal breaker for a lot of people, or it shouldn't be a deal breaker for a lot of people. Dudiao709 commented, will you be doing an outdoor visibility test? That's more important in my opinion. Actually, I think that's very important as well. It's probably one of my top things. That's one of the things that I had an issue with on the Nexus 6P, is that I always had trouble in outdoor like visibility. I will say with the OnePlus 3, I haven't really noticed much issues with outdoors in sunlight, but I'll do a proper test. I'll try to set something up for you guys. Today it was really overcast, so it wasn't something that I was able to do. Jason also commented if I enabled sRGB mode on the S7 and the HTC 10. Jason, on the S7, no, I had it on the adaptive display, the default display, and on the HTC 10 that was an sRGB. They were both at its default displays. But today I'm going to go over both of them. I'll switch from one to the other and we'll take a look at backgrounds, we'll take a look at wallpapers, and take a look at the quality. And Anant Joshi commented, will be more cool if you put some wallpaper and compare on all devices. I want to see OP3 versus S7 on same wallpaper with max brightness. Anant, thank you for the feedback. That's actually what I'm going to do today. Okay, just so we're clear here, all four of these phones are at 100% 100% brightness. Auto brightness is turned off. Adaptive brightness is turned off. It's just set at its highest brightness setting that I can put it at. My first question to you is, if you didn't know that one of these was a 1080p screen and the rest were 1440p, could you easily pick it out? I honestly don't think you would. It might be hard for you to see it on the screen, but in my eyes, in real world settings, like looking at it from head on here, the color on the OnePlus 3 and on the Samsung Galaxy S7 look a little more vivid. They look a little more punchy than the ones on the G5 and the HTC 10. And just because it's more punchy doesn't mean it's better. I believe the displays were just set to be that way. Now the Samsung Galaxy S7 can be changed to sRGB display, so it's not as saturated, it's not as contrasty. And the HTC 10 is actually defaulted at sRGB right now, and I can actually change that to a more vivid color profile. So it's nice that these two can be switched around that way. There is an update coming up for the OnePlus 3 where you can do that as well. So right now this is a more vivid kind of color profile, but soon they're going to release an update that you can change it to sRGB, so it's a more toned down, natural looking version. This particular wallpaper is a 1080p wallpaper. Let's move on to the next. This is another 1080p wallpaper as well. From my eyes, when I'm looking at it, the yellows, the orange, the red on the OnePlus 3 and the S7, they're a lot more punchy than the other two. But I think some of this also has to do with the fact that the Samsung Galaxy S7 and the OnePlus 3 have a brighter display. The greenery here too look brighter as well. On the LG G5 and the HTC 10, they look a little more natural. Again, we have another 1080p wallpaper right here. There's really not a lot to say. It's gonna be kind of the same thing if I said it again, but the purples here just are punchier. They look brighter, they're a little more vivid, and I think really what it comes down to is personal preference. The next 6 or 7 wallpapers that I have are all 1440p ones. That is a 2560 by 1440 size. Now on this wallpaper, this is a 1440p wallpaper. You can see with the LG G5 and the HTC 10, the bear looks a lot more natural in color here. On the Samsung Galaxy S7 and the OnePlus 3, you can see the contrast is a little punched up here. Here's a picture with a butterfly, again another 1440p wallpaper. The green on both of these just kind of shoot out at you. We have pigeons in this picture. Elephants in this one. And actually in this picture with the LG G5 and the HTC 10, if you take a look at the grass looks a lot more natural than the one on the Samsung Galaxy S7. But here, the Samsung Galaxy S7 and the OnePlus 3, they don't look exactly the same. The grass actually looks a little more natural than it does on the S7 here. It's just not as like poppy. A wallpaper of flowers here. And here's another 1440p wallpaper. And finally, a picture with this bird. I left this one here last because there's a lot of color here, a lot of bright colors. And again, you can see on the OnePlus 3 and the Samsung Galaxy S7, it pops a little more. Is it a big, huge difference where you're gonna say, oh man, I can't believe I had this phone, the display looks so bad? No, I don't think so. Because really, when you look at the OnePlus 3 and I tell you this is a 1080p while these are 1440p's, I just don't see how people are making such a big deal about it because I don't see a huge difference. And this is a 5.5-inch display. This is the biggest display out of all of these, so this has the lowest PPI. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that there. What I'm gonna do now is I am actually gonna take the Samsung Galaxy S7 and turn this into sRGB. I'm gonna take the HTC 10 and put this on a vivid display so we can see if the Galaxy S7 is capable of having a more natural color, while the HTC 10, we'll see if we can give this a more like vivid, punchy color. I'm gonna move the G5 out of here for now. We're gonna change the settings on these. I'll show you here real quick on the Samsung Galaxy S7. When it's on adaptive display, it says optimizes the color range, saturation, and sharpness of your display automatically. When you put it to basic, you can tell here the colors are a little muted. I don't know if that's really gonna show on the screen or if my camera is gonna keep changing its settings to deal with the light, but let's just go back here now. We'll show it with the rest. Okay, so I have the HTC 10 up here, the OnePlus 3 in the middle, and the Samsung Galaxy S7 here at the bottom. Now on the HTC 10, even though it's on a more vivid color space, I am not noticing it as much, but maybe it's because the brightness of the screen isn't the same as the brightness on the Samsung Galaxy S7 and the OnePlus 3. But I can definitely tell now that on the OnePlus 3, this looks a lot more saturated than the Samsung Galaxy S7. A picture here with the pigeons. And the water here, the lily pads or whatever right around here, you could tell are a lot more saturated, a lot more poppy. The contrast is really high. The flowers. the elephants, and you can take a look at the grass on the S7, how earlier I said it was really too high of a contrast, or it looks so much different than the rest, but now this is a lot more muted. The butterfly, the flowers, and the bear. On the Samsung Galaxy S7, you can see that sRGB does make a big difference. The colors here are different from each other now. So if you were considering a OnePlus 3, or if you have a OnePlus 3 and you were kind of disappointed because it doesn't have a more natural color, just be patient because OnePlus is working on an update to enable sRGB so you can have a more natural color like you can do on the Samsung Galaxy S7. Options are good. It's good to see that OnePlus is listening, and you know, whenever that update comes, I'll be making a video about it. I'll see you tomorrow.